Good day, grade 9, and welcome to our English 9 class. And our topic for today is elements of a short story. And before our discussion, I would like you first to watch and please listen well to this short story. It's in animation form, but it is in short story format. It is around 7 minutes and 54 seconds, and the title of the story is The Egg. The Egg. Okay, so sit back, relax, and enjoy, and please watch this short story in a video.
You were on your way home when you died. It was a car accident. Nothing particularly remarkable, but fatal nonetheless. It was a painless death. The medics tried their best to save you, but to no avail. Your body was so utterly shattered, you were better off, trust me. And that's when you met me. What happened? Where am I? You died, I said, matter-of-factly. No point in mincing words. There was a truck, and it was skidding. Yes. I died. Yes. But don't feel bad about it. Everyone dies. You looked around. There was nothingness. Just you and me. What is this place? Is this the afterlife? More or less. Are you God? Yes, I'm God. My kids? My wife? What about them? Will they be all right? That's what I like to see, I said. You just died and your main concern is for your family. That's good stuff right there. You looked at me with fascination. To you, I didn't look like God. I just looked like some man or possibly a woman. Some vague authority figure, maybe. Don't worry, I said. They'll be fine. Your kids will remember you as perfect in every way. They didn't have time to grow contemptuous of you. Your wife will cry on the outside, but will be secretly relieved. To be fair, your marriage was falling apart. If it's any consolation, she'll feel very guilty for feeling relieved. Oh, so what happens now? Do I go to heaven or hell or something? Neither. You'll be reincarnated. Ah, so the Hindus were right. All religions are right in their own way. Walk with me. You followed along as we strode through the void. Where are we going? Nowhere in particular. It's just nice to walk while we talk. So, what's the point then? When I get reborn, I'll just be a blank slate, right? A baby. So, all my experiences and everything I did in this life won't matter. Not so. You have within you all the knowledge and experiences of all your past lives. You just don't remember them right now. I stopped walking and took you by the shoulders. Your soul is more magnificent, beautiful, and gigantic than you can possibly imagine. A human mind can only contain a tiny fraction of what you are. It's like sticking your finger in a glass of water to see if it's hot or cold. You put a tiny part of yourself into the vessel, and when you bring it back out, you've gained all the experiences it had. You've been in a human for the last 48 years, so you haven't stretched out yet and felt the rest of your immense consciousness. If we hung out here for long enough, you'd start remembering everything. But there's no point to doing that between each life. How many times have I been reincarnated then? Oh, lots. Lots and lots. And into lots of different lives. This time around, you'll be a Chinese peasant girl in 540 AD. Wait, what? You're sending me back in time? Well, I guess technically, time as you know it only exists in your universe. Things are different where I come from. Where you come from? Oh, sure. I come from somewhere else. And there are others like me. I know you'll want to know what it's like there, but honestly, you wouldn't understand. Oh, you said, a little let down. But wait, if I get reincarnated to other places in time, I could have interacted with myself at some point. Sure, happens all the time. And with both lives only aware of their own lifespan, you don't even know it's happening. So, what's the point of it all? I looked you in the eye. The meaning of life, the reason I made this whole universe, is for you to mature. You mean mankind? You want us to mature? No, just you. I made this whole universe for you. With each new life, you grow and mature and become a larger and greater intellect. Just me? What about everyone else? There is no one else. In this universe, there's just you and me. You stared blankly at me. But all the people on Earth, all you, different incarnations of you. Wait, I'm everyone. Now you're getting it. I'm every human being who ever lived. Or who will ever live. Yes. I'm Abraham Lincoln. And you're John Wilkes Booth too. I'm Hitler, you said, appalled. And you're the millions he killed. I'm Jesus. And you're everyone who followed him. You fell silent. Every time you victimized someone, you were victimizing yourself. Every act of kindness you've done to yourself. Every happy and sad moment ever experienced by any human was or will be experienced by you. You thought for a long time. Why? Why do all this? Because someday you will become like me. Because that's what you are. You're one of my kind. You're my child. Wow, you said incredulous. You mean I'm a god? No, not yet. You're a fetus. You're still growing. Once you've lived every human life throughout all time, you will have grown enough to be born. So the whole universe, it's just an egg, I answered. Now it's time for you to move on to your next life. And I sent you on your way.
Okay, so it's a cute story, a short story. That's why it's called short story because it's compounded. It's just as short as it is. And short stories are foundations for novels. No? It starts with the idea of having some short concepts of a story, then later it became full blown novels. And that's how writing stories elevate into a bigger picture. Moving on, let's now talk about the elements of a short story and how it affects our perception of studying stories as well. And for us, maybe we can the concept of a bigger story, longer story, and shorter story. For learning competency, features present in poetry and prose, and then identify the elements of a short story. Okay. Now, how can the elements of a short story help in understanding the text? What are the elements? Now, for the vocabulary words, we have five. We start with merchant. It is a buyer and seller, a trader, used as this way. Portia is a merchant from Venice. Troika, people or objects or places in a group of three, troika, groups of three. A troika of painters, Leo, Mikey, and Rafi, came to help us create this mural. Rubble, currency in Russia. As we all know, Russia and Ukraine is at war. This will cost you 1,000 of rubles if you buy this in Moscow. Fortnite, not the game. 14 days, 2 weeks. That what do you mean by fortnight? We stayed on the mountain side for a fortnight. Flogged to be beaten severely with a whip. Commercials with were flogged to death during ancient times. Now, this is what I think. Um, Maybe you could have used merchant or flog, but I suggest that in your writings you use troika, rubble, and fortnight as well. What is a short story? What is this all about? Well, it is a short narrative that has approximately 10,000 words. So, ibig sabihin maraming words na hawak siya and can be read in one sitting. Okay? So, the one we had has around that the number of words. Now, it conveys a precise message or a lesson that can be illustrated in events and experiences. I made you watch that video of the short story because it will give you the idea of illustrated events, although the experiences tend to be ethereal. Now, here are sorry. Oh, brother. The elements of a short story. You have the setting, where it happened. You have the plot. You have the conflict. You have the characters, you have the point of view, and you have the theme. The setting, when and where the story takes place. And the setting includes the following. Excuse me. Now, in the setting, the place, the geographic location, the time, the day, the period, the date, the year, and the weather conditions plus the mood. This is the thing that creates the story. Technically, it's also called the context of the story. So, whenever we talk about the setting, it's all about when and where. When and where did it happen? Now we go to the plot. It is the sequence of events in a story, like what is the starting and what is the other parts of the story. This is the planned logical series of events having beginning, middle, and ending. Nowadays, in storytelling, they try to invert the positions. Five essential parts of a plot. You have introduction, how does it start, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, the ending, the signal that it will end, and then the denouement, the actual ending. Five essential parts of the plot, as we all know. There's the introduction, the characters were revealed, the rising action, where it is to the climax. The climax, this is the actual high point of the story. The falling action, where there are complications and resolutions, and then you have the denouement, the outcome or the untangling of the events in the story. Now, you also have the conflict, the opposition of forces that connects one event to another, making the plot move. You have the internal conflict, a struggle in the main characters within themselves, overcoming grief, resisting urge, making a decision. Or you have the external conflict, a struggle with the force outside the main character. So, yun ang nasa labas. Kinds of conflict, ito, it is usual. Man versus self. This is an internal conflict wherein the main character struggles with issues within himself, his ideas, physical limitations, choices. Like, for example, Mulan, problema siya yung sa sarili niya. You have man versus man. This is an internal conflict where the main character is as done with someone else, like another character, animal, or even sportsman. Like for example, in our yung sa mga gaming, like the RPGs, there's we call man versus man. And then you have the man versus society. And there's an external conflict wherein the main character struggles against the ideas, practices, or customs of other people. So this is a bigger conflict brewing. What about the characters or persons in a work or a fiction? Okay, you have the protagonist, who is the one character, central of the story, a hero. And you have the villain, the antagonist, opposes the main character. Nowadays, there is what you call a hybrid of the protagonist and antagonist, the villain and the hero. May mga ganun na. Point of view, angle from which the story is told. You have the first person, starting with the person, the third person, and then the third person omniscient. The first person told by the protagonist or one of the characters close to the protagonist, pronouns like I, me, we, etc. are used. Third person limited, told in the third person using nouns they, he, she, it. The reader gets to see the thoughts and feelings of only one character throughout the story. And you have the third person omniscient, told in third person, but this time the author moves from character to character, telling the story through each of the characters' thoughts and feelings. So you have the main point of view. Now, we have also the theme, the main story, the central idea of the short story, and maybe the writer's thoughts on a topic or view about the human nature. Some writers will be very, very intentional in writing. So, this is what you call the short story. And there are many good short stories around that's available that you will see. And I hope that you will have the knack, desire to read these stories for you to grow in your academic life. Again, don't forget to do the Quipper after this short lecture. And um, please do it now, because if you do it later, it will just pile up. Thank you again, and continue to just enjoy your whole day with your classmates as well as with uh, your teachers as well. So again, thank you. We'll see each other on our next class.